What if Mega Sceptile was in Gen 1 OU? I did the original Sceptile a while ago, over a year ago in fact, and it ended up doing pretty good in Gen 1, all things considered. Its stats are pretty good for the time, as you can see here. 105 special attack is nothing to sneeze at, and 120 speed is great. It's the exact same speed as Alakazam. Although there were some problems, such as its ice weakness, its attack not being that great, and kind of just being frail in general. Do these get fixed with Mega Sceptile? Some of them do. As I can see, you go from 65 defense to 75. Your special defense doesn't change, but honestly, like, it's kind of average bulk, but average is still pretty good. For a glass cannon like Sceptile, you take that. Now, let's talk about the obvious ones. A massive boost to both your speed and especially your special attack. 145 is crazy. I'm pretty sure the only special attack higher would be Mewtwo at 154. I'm pretty sure not even Zam gets this high. So that alone is just absolutely insane. And with that speed, 145 speed means you outspeed Electrode. So, yeah, fastest thing in the game, and by far the best crit rate. But the crit rate doesn't even matter most of the time, because we're giving you Leaf Blade, a signature 70 base power move that will always crit in Gen 1. And it's using that special attack. So you're just nuking everything. It's terrifying. In fact, it's one of those things that's so good to where I probably don't even need to show you replays for it. One, because, as I'll talk about later, they are inherently inaccurate. And two, obviously, you're just using this thing as a late game cleaner. And as a late game cleaner, it is one of the most destructive and terrifying things of all time. You don't mess with Mega Sceptile. Or maybe you do, because there are some things that it has issues with. And one you can probably guess immediately. Regular Sceptile already suffered from a ice weakness. And while the added defense is nice, yeah, this thing is not surviving an ice move. And like, literally any ice move you can think of, Blizzard, from like Tauros or Cloyster, Starmie's Blizzard, Jinx's Blizzard, like everything just kills it immediately. The only thing that might not kill it immediately is a Snorlax Ice Beam, and that's only if it's unboosted. With Amnesia, it is definitely killing. So yeah, that really sucks. However, it's kind of interesting, Grass Dragon, because in spite of that, you do have a pretty interesting compromise. You trade one quadruple weakness for 3 quadruple resistances, because as a Grass Dragon, you quad resist grass, electric, and water. And all 3 of those are very, very useful immunities, or I guess they're basically immunities, all things considered. Because, like, Slowbro with Surf, a Thunderbolt with Jolteon, they do basically nothing. Like, Starmie, it probably still runs Bolt Beam a lot, and while Blizzard could be a potential OHKO if you guess the prediction right. At the same time, if you switch on a Thunderbolt, unless Sceptile's getting paralyzed, that is just a free OHKO. And you better believe that Leaf Blade is a guaranteed OHKO on Chansey. Or not Chansey, Starmie. I cannot talk today, I apologize for that. But those aren't the only things that Sceptile is getting buffed on. Because, obviously, with those resistances, that helps. Being a grass type means you do resist Earthquake. And with 75 defense, it's still only average bulk. But still, that's way better for just switching in on Earthquakes. And could allow you to go for Substitute. And I do think Substitute is probably what you go for. But, honestly, unlike the regular Sceptile, which 85 is only kind of meh. 110 is decent attack for the time. Granted, it's still only doing meh damage, and I say that because you're only 3 hit KO Chansey with Earthquake, while Ice Beam is a guaranteed KO in contrast. Really not good. It also sucks because in terms of physical coverage, you kind of feel like you're always lacking something. Body Slam you prefer just so you have good consistent damage against Eggy. Earthquake is mostly good, but you know, again, like you just get walled by Eggy. Hyper Beam is, you know, like big damage with crit Gobert. Honestly, you probably Earthquake I think is mandatory because Earthquake you are super effective against Gengar. So it's mostly the fourth move that can be whatever. Agility could be good, but it's mostly just for beating paralysis, you know? Like, let's say Jolteon paralyzes you, you go for agility, so you don't have to worry about paralysis anymore. That's the way I see it. For the most part, even though you have better attacking stats with, you know, 110, I don't think Sword Stance is worth it. I feel like that Blizzard weakness is just a little too exploitable in Gen 1. But feel free to let me know what you think in the comments. I think it's time to get into the replays. And I might struggle a little bit for these, because I've already had a few recordings. Mostly because sometimes it's hard to... There's just not much I can really say compared to regular Sceptile. And along with that, there's also just the fact that so many of these, it's just Sceptile gets O-code with ice moves. Because you see there, like... Yeah, obviously, Leaf Blade does stupid damage to Tauros. And obviously, Blizzard just basically does more damage because of the quadruple hit. So, like, what do I really have to say here? And there's not very much I can really add. Now, here's one that's kind of interesting, though. Now, Leaf Blade, that already says a lot, that it does 50%. But unfortunately, it's not guaranteed. So, like, it's potentially a 3-hit KO, which, yeah, that's kind of a death sentence. Which is unfortunate. And it really makes me wish Stealth Rocks were here, but, yeah. And there's Earthquake, which, okay, I made these replays a few days ago. That's even worse than I thought. Only doing 30% to Chansey? And that's with 110 attack? That is just honestly insane. Like, actually, let me check something real quick. Yeah, like, yeah, these have the EVs. Honestly, I think I need this right there is already telling me that, like, again, do not bother with Sword Stance. If that's how much Ice Beam did, if that's how much Earthquake does, Body Slam is definitely not saving you, nor is Hyper Beam. I'm pretty sure Hyper Beam Chansey can survive a crit. But next up is Zam. Now here's one of the times where I do have something interesting to say. Because regular Sceptile speed tied, and that was a little bit annoying. But now you hit harder and you're just always faster. Granted, Sam could always get special drops, but at the same time, you're being O-coded by ice moves anyway, and more importantly, Leaf Blade is always a crit. So honestly, you don't mind about the special drops at all, really. You're only really using Leaf Blade. Which, now that I think about it, that probably is just a huge reason to maybe try to going for Sceptile. That's pretty handy, I would say. Because, like, it can just allow you to just switch it in on Psychics, and you don't care about the special drop, because you're probably O-coing, or you're just using the pivot. That's honestly another thing I want to say. Against moves that aren't, well, crits like you saw there, or against, like, ice moves exactly, Mega Sceptile can handle the special moves pretty decently, all things considered. Obviously, for water moves, it just doesn't care. So Cloyster here could even, like, dream to try to clamp it to death. But against, like, let's say, like, a Gengar Psychic, you do decent damage. Now, here is... Yeah, this is the Executor. It does. You do nothing here. It is just absolutely unwinnable. But I think that's good. I definitely think it's good that there's at least some counterplay to Mega Sceptile. Despite that, though, I definitely think this thing would be Ubers. Even if it's not like the best thing in the tier, I still think Snorlax, Chansey, and Tauros would be better. But it's really, really just not fun to play against. And to be honest, there's basically no counterplay. Like, imagine a Dragon type a Dragonite. Think about how annoying Dragonite is once it gets an agility off. There's technically more counterplay to that than a Jillarap, but it's basically just as annoying because it outspeeds everything, and once it's out on the field, it's probably killing you. It's definitely stronger than a Jillarap since you have to set up for it. Not to mention there's always a crit and stuff. Also, there is an example of you taking special moves decently well, only taking 25% from Gengar. Not bad. And now here's Jolteon. You outspeed Jolteon, which regular Sceptile could not do. So this is yet another really big deal. Being able to outspeed and threaten an Oko with a crit. It means that Jolteon has to respect you and has to switch out. Otherwise, you could potentially lose it. And Jinx is a... I'm not even sure if you call it, it could go either way. I guess with this example here, I guess Hyper Beam is the best move. Because you can threaten a crit and Oko. I'm not sure if Earthquake Oko's with a crit. I have a feeling it doesn't, but who knows. Also, Leaf Blade kills Slowbro. I hope you weren't wondering that. You probably weren't. Like, if someone was like genuinely wondering that, you're probably just like, you know, trolling or something. Starmie's the exact same way, but this is a little bit more relevant since if you get the prediction wrong, Starmie could potentially kill you with Blizzard. Although I don't think Starmie ever really risks that. Now here's the interesting one to me. The Victory Bell. With Stun Spore, Victory Bell definitely stands a chance. Although Wrap is super annoying. But not only does it take a while for Wrap to break through Substitute, but your other main attacking move is Razor Leaf. And look there, that was 3 Wraps and then a Razor Leaf and that still didn't break the sub. Kinda shows that just how good that quad resistance to grass is, doesn't it? At the same time, Earthquake wasn't really hurting that much either. But inevitably, Sceptile probably is going to get some crits. But also, Victory Bell can do chip damage with Wrap, maybe kill with Hyper Beam. Not to mention Sceptile might have agility. Honestly, it's like the best example of a could go either way, which is surprising that Sceptile has some of those. But yeah, that's Victory Bell taking out Sceptile. And the last one here is Zapdos, and I probably should have mentioned it earlier, but like, if it resists Leaf Blade, Sceptile's probably having a big issue. The only one where it might be okay is Victory Bell. But even with that last replay you saw there, Victory Bell can absolutely cause some problems with Sceptile. So here's the list. This probably shouldn't be unwinnable. Probably should just be could go either way. And this, I think I had those two mixed up. This should probably go to the good because you need a crit. But I think everything else is fine. Like maybe you can argue this being could go either way because with Tauros, this depends on if it has chip damage. But if you're doing Tauros with chip damage, then it makes more sense to put it here instead. But I don't know, like, it's a weird Pokemon. But definitely one that I don't think is very fun. Alright, let me iterate. If you're the one using it, you're having a blast. Like, it's like a barrel of laughs. And, Shelly, I know for a fact you're watching this. And I know you would enjoy it. But, like, everyone else, like, I'm sorry. Like, I know, I'm not sure if I'll ever put Mega Sceptile on a Generation Jumble. And if I did, it would definitely be an Uber season. But who knows? We'll have to see what happens next time. Speaking of next time, I kind of want to do something different than Gen 1. But I think it's still going to be a what if video. So, make your guesses now. What do you think I'm going to make? Let me know in the comments below. But until next time, this is Groundback, and I look forward to hearing from you.